can a pair of $150 ANC wireless headphones outperform a $350 pair of ANC wireless headphones? Well, Soundcore certainly seem to think so with the release of the Soundcore Space Q45 headphones. So how do they compare against the award-winning Sony WH-1000 XM4s? Well, the results might actually surprise you because they certainly did me. Welcome to my tech gear. Let's find out. So I've been using the WH-1000 XM4s for years as my go-to pair of ANC headphones. Soundcore sent me their Space Q45s to test and review, but they're not paying for or sponsoring this video, so you are going to get my honest opinion as to whether I think they're good enough or could even dethrone the XM4s. First up is the cases. Now, it's probably not too hard to guess where Soundcore got their inspiration from for their case, because it pretty much looks identical to the cases of the XM4s. There is a smooth sort of leatherette case on the Soundcores, whereas the XM4s are more of a fabric case. They're both firm, solid cases, so they're going to provide plenty of protection for your headphones. Inside, I would say that the XM4 case does feel a little bit smoother, a bit more felt-like on the inside, as opposed to the Soundcore one, which it's okay, it just feels a little bit less premium than the XM4s. So in the case itself, both of them come equipped with a USB-C charging cable. They both also come with a 3.5mm audio cable, because both of these have a 3.5mm audio jack. The extra here is the XM4s also come with a airplane adapter, so if you want to use that on an airplane, you can. So whilst both cases are great, I do think the case on the XM4s are slightly better, so it's a point and a win for the XM4s for the case. Now, looking at the builds of these headphones, it would be very hard just seeing them side by side to guess that one of them was $200 more expensive than the other one. The band on the Q45 has a reinforced metal band across the top to help keep your headband nice and sturdy, so it's got plenty of give for larger heads. There is a padding across the top here, although I would say it is a little bit thin. Certainly not as thick as the one on the Sony XM4s here. This one across the top, a lot more padding here, which would make it a little bit more comfortable on the top of your head. Headband nice and easily adjusts on the Sonys, and likewise on the Q45s as well. Nice and easily adjustable for a nice big set of different head sizes. The XM4s over here are nice and comfortable with a nice faux leather around the ear cups, and that memory foam that cups on your ear feels nice and soft. It is, however, I think a little bit thin. So they feel nice and comfortable to wear, but your ears touch the inside of the ear cups, which for some people is going to get a little bit annoying. Now, I don't have particularly big ears either. The Q45s, on the other hand, also have a nice soft leatherette on the outside, but you will notice that the ear cups and the ear pads here are a lot thicker than they are on the XM4s. So they're actually a lot more comfortable to wear because there's more thickness to them. That also keeps the speaker inside further away from your ear. So if I wear these aren't anywhere close to touching my ears and are actually super comfortable. Also, the inside of these are wider than the XM4s. So the Q45s are going to be better for a wider range of ear shapes and actually more comfortable than the XM4s. So the Q45s, I've worn these for hours. I've worn this for a full working day. Well, I've worn this for several full working days, and they haven't hurt my ears, they haven't hurt my head. I've worn them with glasses and they haven't pushed into my head, they haven't pushed the glasses into my head either. They've just been super comfortable to wear. So for design and comfort, it is a win for the Q45s for me. Now we get to controls. Now on the Q45s, all of the controls are available via the buttons on the ear pads themselves. On the right ear cup, you have the volume up and down buttons. There's also a button for controlling the play and the pause, and you can also hold and press the up and down button for a couple of seconds to actually skip to the next track or skip back to the previous track. So all of your common controls are available on your ear pads. On the other hand, the Sony has a touch panel on the right hand side of the ear cup, and that actually allows you to swipe up and swipe down, swipe forward and swipe back to either increase the volume up or down, go forwards or backwards in a track. You can double tap to pause your music and unpause it. It is a really intuitive touch interface and starts to show where your extra money is going. The XM4 does have more features from a control perspective though, because it also has speak to chat. So if you start talking, it will automatically pause your music until you're finished, and then you can start your music again. So the XM4s certainly have more controls, more features than the Q45s. So for this round, the XM4s win. And now we're on to connectivity, because a strong connection is super important, especially for wireless headphones, because you need a strong connection, otherwise you're going to get dropped audio, choppy audio, generally a bit of a crap experience. Fortunately, both of these headphones are going to serve you well. The XM4s here are equipped with Bluetooth 5.0 and the Q45s are equipped with Bluetooth 5.3. The 0.3 improvement should mean that the Q45s are better with battery life, which we'll get to in a little bit. Both of these headphones support multi-point connection, so you can connect to 2 devices at the same time. And as mentioned before, both of these have a 3.5mm audio jack, so you can use the 3.5mm cable that came with the headphones and plug it into whatever your 3.5mm audio jack source is. Big bonus here is that even if you are connecting over a cable, you can still use the noise cancelling features that are on these headphones as well. And even if the power completely runs out, you can still use your headphones with that audio source using that cable. Both of these headphones do that. Great to see, because there's quite a few other headphones in the market that once you lose power, they stop working completely. And these don't do that. So connectivity wise, it's a tie between these two, so it's a point each. And now we're on to battery life, and there really is quite a big difference between the two here. The Sony XM4s here were class leading when they were first released, and with ANC turned on, they have battery life of 30 hours, which is really good. Now you can turn ANC off and you will get battery power up to 38 hours, and that's even better. However, the problem is that the Q45s do this so much better. The Q45s with ANC turned on will give you 50 hours of battery life, and that is so much more than the XM4s. You can turn ANC off and you'll actually get up to 65 hours of battery life, which is insane, and also goes some way to explaining why the headphones themselves are a little bit chunkier than the XM4s, mainly because it's holding a bigger battery. 50 hours of battery life is basically enough to sit on a plane and travel around the whole world, come back to where you started, and you'd still have power left on your headphones. Charging wise, the XM4s will charge up to full in about 180 minutes, but it also supports fast charging. So if you charge these for 10 minutes, you'll get 5 hours of playtime. However, the Q45 still does it better. It will charge up to full in 100 minutes, and you can get just a 5-minute charge will give you 4 hours of playback. So in the terms of battery life, it is a clear win for the Q45s. Sound quality, probably one of the most important things in a pair of headphones. Both of these come equipped with a 40mm driver, and they also both support AAC, SBC and LDAC audio codecs. Now LDAC is a high-res audio codec, which both of these support, which is awesome. However, there's a little caveat to that. If you turn LDAC on, then you can't get multi-point support as well. Pretty much because LDAC is high-res audio, so it's pretty much taking up all the bandwidth that Bluetooth has available to it just for audio. It's got no room left to connect to a second device. It's actually not an issue just with these headphones, but with any headphone that supports high-res audio. So with similar sized drivers and similar codec support as well, both of these do sound good. Now sound-wise, I do think the XM4s have the slight edge here and are better in that mid to high frequency than the Q45s are out of the box. Having said that, that's a little bit of a moot point because both of them come with customizable equalizers in their mobile apps. So the XM4 in the mobile app comes equipped with a 5-band graphic equalizer and some presets. The Q45 comes equipped with an 8-band graphic equalizer and a whole bunch of presets that you can choose from as well. Once you've tweaked the sound though, I do still think that the XM4s are slightly better in the mid and the high frequencies. Q45s are actually pretty good in the bass area, and you can turn those up pretty loud without the bass distorting. I would say that the sound profile on the Q45s is definitely impacted as to whether you turn ANC on or off. There is a noticeable emphasis on the bass when you turn ANC on and a noticeable lack of it when you turn it off, which really affects the sound profile. You can counter and adjust for that in the EQ settings that I talked about before. The Sony, on the other hand, when you turn ANC on and off, really doesn't change that sound profile, so they control that a lot better than the Q45s are. So for that reason, and with slightly better clarity, I do give the win to the XM4s here. Active noise cancelling. So ANC has to be one of the main reasons why you buy a pair of ANC headphones, right? So it's really important that these headphones perform well here. The XM4s, when they were first released, were class leading and has adaptive noise cancelling and 20 levels of customizable ambient noise cancellation. So you can select the amount of noise cancelling that you want to enable on those headphones. In comparison, the Q45s only has 5 levels of ambient noise adaptation, but in actual tests it was really hard to tell the difference between them both. I did actually find that the Q45s actually trimmed some of the higher frequencies out better than the XM4s, but I also found the XM4s were slightly better at trimming out the lower frequencies. But to be honest, I really am splitting hairs here between two pair of headphones that are really good at ANC. So for me, it's a tie and it's a point each. And now we get to the mic test. If you're going to use these in a noisy environment, be it an office or a cafe, being able to be clearly heard over a call is really important. So now you listen to a mic test of the Sony WH-1000 XM4s so that you know what you would sound like if you were to take a call. Now this is a quiet environment, so now let's switch over to something a little bit more noisy. So you'll now listen to the mic on top of the camera so that you can hear what the ambient sound in the room is like. If we now switch to the mics on the headphones themselves, you can now hear what I would sound like if you were to take a call on these headphones in a noisy cafe environment or similar. Now I do think the Sony is doing a good job in making my voice well heard. However, it's not cancelling out all of the background noise, but I still think you can clearly hear me. You are now listening to a sound test of the Soundcore Space Q45s and what you would sound like if you were to take a call in a quiet room. Let's face it, quiet rooms are quite easy though, so let's switch to something a little more noisy. And now you're listening to the mic on the top of the camera again so you can hear what the noise is like as the ambient sound in the room. If we now switch to the mics on the headphones, you can now hear what my voice sounds like and how clear I am heard over that background noise. You can also hear how much of that background noise the Q45s are cancelling out. Now I think that the Q45s do an absolutely amazing job in cancelling out lots of that background noise, actually far better than the XM4s. So for me, it's definitely a win for these headphones over the XM4s. So $150 pair of headphones versus a $350 pair of headphones. Which did you prefer? Do let me know in the comments down below. As far as the results of the tests go, well, it was actually a tie. And I think the results really do speak as to the strengths of both of these headphones. If you want a pair of headphones that sound great and have tons of features, then the Sony WH-1000 XM4s are a really great pair of headphones to get. However, you do have to pay a premium for them at $350. If, however, you're after a pair of headphones that are just comfortable to wear, have great battery life, sound good, have good ANC, and are great to take a call, then the Soundcore Space Q45s are a really good choice, and at $150, they're a great buy. I will place purchase links to both of them in the description down below, so you can go check them out for yourselves. Thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.